Welcome. Why should anyone know more about their race than anything else? Is race a reality? Does race exist? Here's what Jane Elliott said. You are not born racist. You are born into a racist society. And like anything else, if you can learn it, you can unlearn it. But some people choose not to unlearn it because they are afraid they will lose power if they share with other people. We are afraid of sharing power. That's what it's all about. I think so. I hope so. Let's look at this topic now. After having said that, it will come as a huge jolt to millions when it is proved that there was only one race originally. But today, there are only two races on earth. The original one, or the human race, was a Bantu race or melanin dominant humans. We are going to give the proof for that. We are just going to pick up excerpts here, but in the description below, we are going to give you the sources where you can read these, get this information. This is an abstract from this NSABI resource. It says the varieties of normal skin color in humans range from people of no color, pale white, to people of color, light brown, dark brown, and black. Skin is a blend resulting from the skin chromophores: red, ox hemoglobin; blue, deoxygenated hemoglobin; yellow, orange, carotene and exogenous pigment; and brown, melanin. Melanin, however, is the major component of skin color. It is the presence or absence of melanin in melanocytes and melanin in keratinocytes that is responsible for epidermal pigmentation. Now, from the book The Journey of Man, A Genetic Odyssey by Spencer Wells, page 39, we are just going to read what is highlighted here, but the rest here is very, very important. He deals with the issue that you are more likely to sample extremely divergent genetic lineages within a single African village than you would the whole world. The majority of the genetic polymorphisms found in our species are found uniquely in Africans. Polymorphism involves one of two or more variants of a particular DNA sequence. The most common types of polymorphism involves variation at a single base pair. So this is scientific. This is nothing than what we are saying. So this is the global map of indigenous skin colors. And as it has already been elaborated in Africa, here shown here, you find the divergence of all the other distributions of colors found here. Skin color variations here. So we are going again to read what is underlined here from this skin color variation in Africa. He says, these scientists examined skin color variation in 2,000 African individuals from different geographic locations and ethnic groups. They range from light-skinned, here, there, all right, from light-skinned, sun hunter-gatherer population in Southern Africa to the dark-skinned pastoralist populations in Eastern Africa, far exceeds pigmentary diversity anywhere else on the planet. There, you see, it's very, very, this is very, very important in understanding the origins of race. Before blacks, melanin dominant humans, there were no other humans, none on earth. What happened then to them is that out of them we got all the varieties that we have today. So we have this color spectrum of deep blue black to very light white. These are the two races based on human skin color definitions. But there is more to this. According to Gloger's law, it poses a monogenetic race origins. So what we know is that 3 billion years ago, only melanin dominant humans were on earth. And then out of that, this was the initial skin color here in origins. And 8,500 years ago, that's where we have skin lightening events based on these SLC24A5, SLC45A2, and many others that now define Asians and the Europeans, all coming from one skin tone. The new data confirms that about 8,500 years ago, early hunter-gatherers in Spain, Luxembourg, and Hungary also had darker skin. They lacked versions of two genes, SLC24A5 and SLC45A2, that lead to depigmentation and therefore pale skin in Europeans today. You can get this from this website given here, smithsonianmag.com. This is scientific, it's not racism. So there are now only two races on Earth. The other one came through genetic mutation caused by the light skin allele given here, SL24A5, SLC45A2, and many others associated with them. So this is how it came about. Very straightforward. And this is the differentiations that we have, and these are the websites that elaborate and explains all this. This is a very interesting and very important topic, because it will give us the foundation and the basis of understanding who we are and what others are. So collectively, these two contribute to the variation in skin pigmentation in South Asians, with SLC24A5 showing the largest effect. The second study on common disease variants suggested the high prevalence of the light skin associated allele of SL24A5 in Asian Indians. So this is very open and no issues about it. But the scholars are biased. I'll show and prove that here. The three great races, according to Myers Covanson's lexicon of 1885 to 90, this one showing that. But there were biases already, because he says the subtypes of the Mongoloid race are shown in yellow and orange tones. Those of the Caucasoid race in light and medium grayish, right here. All right. And he goes on to say the spring green cyan and tones, and those of the Negroid races in brown tones here. All right. Then he goes on to say the Dravidians and the Sinhalese, are in olive green, and their classification is described as uncertain. How could you say uncertain when this is all dark? This is all dark melanin here. So this is the bias that gave us the three races that we have today. But there are only two, black and the other variances. Those are what we have. The Mongoloid races sees the widest geographic distribution, including of all of the Americas, North Asia, East Asia, and Southeast Asia, the entire inhabited Arctic, while they form most of Central Asia and the Pacific Islands. The Pacific Islands, remove that because we are there. They are still represented there. So we have two intellectual giants that clashed on the basis of color, race, and the issue of the human race based on melanin. So Dr. Laila Africa says melanin is what makes black people black. And Dr. Sebi, on the other side, said in the human being, all you find is copper and carbon, no melanin. The higher the concentration of carbon, the greater the color black would express. So who is right? So what we know definitely is when we look at carbon, the word carbon itself shown here is a very interesting one. This one, the one I looked at here. It's car and a bar. So it's carbon, like this. Carbon spelled carbon, like this, is Bantu. We know that languages came from Africa. And in 1789, the word carbon was crafted by the French Lavoisier as carbone, spelled this way, Latin carbonate name, spelled that one, a core, glowing core, charcoal. We know how the ancient Greeks described the Ethiopians' burnt faces, so it's very clear. This is from the Proto-Indo-European language, heat, fire. Melanin is also a complex polymer derived from the amino acid tyrosine. Melanin is responsible for determining skin and hair color and is present in the skin to varying degrees depending on how much a population has been exposed to the sun historically. Not very, very correct, because it's already in the original 3 billion years BC. Actual molecular structure of melanin is unknown, which makes it very, very important. This statement alone makes it very important, because melanin, according to Vegan Trek, is important because it is the most primitive and universal pigment in living organisms. Melanin is produced in the pineal gland. Melanin controls all mental and physical body activities. What we need to know is that melanin absorbs energy using spectroscopy and thereby makes the process inoperable to try it and to test it, to analyze it. All life that we know of originates from carbon. So they are explaining the same thing, because we know from Hamid that utema, or being dark, is being black like this, and then the ranges come from there. So Dr. Sebi and Dr. Laila Africa were explaining one thing that makes us what we are, whether carbon, whether melanin, it's the same thing, but different components with different effects, because remember, we're multifold, so as we shall show shortly. Let us now ask, are there differences between these two races that we have elaborated on? Definitely yes. These are the races of humans, and the classification of races based upon melanin content or carbon content inside and outside of their bodies on their skin. So the top 6, given the number 6, are the blue or the blue-black, which is the highest melanin content, melanin dominant humans all over the earth. And then number 5 are the black or brown, which are native Indians, Mexican, Malays, and also 4 the brown red native. So you see, this is a range coming from the deep blue black to the light skin. So within that range, that's where you have got descriptors of these races. So yes, this is a physical difference amongst the races. Let's proceed. There are also other differences, anatomical differences between melanin dominant humans and the melanin recessive humans. You can see here the Steatopygia or buttocks here, and you can see them here. They've got what they call callipygian. So it's very, very open and clear. This is a physiological difference. Then the legs, we have long legs in proportion to upper body, which allows for better movement, and all others have short legs. Of course, with a little bit of variations here and there. And when we come to the blood, melanin dominant humans, our blood, when heated, when it is bent, forms a complex pyramid, which allows the better storage and transmutation of light. And in other melanin recessive humans, their blood is less pyramidal when it is bent in fire. When we look at the liver, we know that melanin dominant humans have got larger liver that allows a lot of cleansing and energy storage. Melanin recessive humans have very small livers. When we come to the hairs, we know that melanin dominant humans have smooth skin and less body hair, while melanin recessive humans are hairy above all the other races. When it comes to the type of the hair, we know that melanin dominant humans, we have got curly hair, which is like that, afro, and this allows for quicker transmission and receiving of electrical and magnetic energy, similar to antenna. This is a wave, this is a spirit. It tells us that this is a spirit, and less spirit as you go to many others. This is clear. Think about this, and it's very, very important. Our hair is very, very strong, and is the only hair that defies gravity and is shaped exactly like the universe. And it also carries the soul number 6 or 9. This is apparent and this is clear. And the hair has a spin, spiral, spiritual. That is the nature of your hair. It is living antennas, wires that connect you into the universal language, a private conversation that many are not invited to. They can only look to you, study you, and watch you with the hopes of maybe figuring out what you and the Most High are saying. Don't be fooled into dying or die or killing or permanently death or your hair to appear like them. When you kill your hair, you kill the universal connection to the cosmos and the spiritual conversation with the unknown. You are life, your hair is alive, all of it, and you are to walk on the earth and represent the life and leave death to the walking soul as dead. No run and no this. Now, we come to the nose. Ours are generally broad and flat, which allows for angular contour to allow columns of air to vibrate as we breathe the air in and give it more frequency. This stimulating electromagnetic energy into the air that we are breathing in. And also, the flat nose gives us wider peripheral vision too. And these other ones, they've got a chisel's nose, bridge nose that blocks vision and separates and divides images and sees the world divided and with a limited vision. And also the noses, when they discovered that they don't look like ancient civilizers, they went ahead and started to smash the noses. This is what they did, and it's not there. So, need we say more? Maybe. We recommend this book by Dr. Laila Africa, where all these issues and matters are discussed and clearly explained. In this book, Dr. Laila Africa delves into diet, into melanin, and many other features like ears, eyes, fingers, etc., and many differences, numerous to mention here. Why is this topic topical? Because of racial inferiority, low self-esteem, servant mentality attitudes that is rampant and that has been programmed into the melanin dominant human's mind. We have to drive it out. This mentality was driven by so-called hidden masters, the elites who divide us by boosting the ego of the newer races to look down upon the original parental race. Therefore, we have to transcend any physiological and mental threats and challenges and know that we, the melanin dominant humans, are the original. This will liberate millions of melanin dominant humans who must not change their physical features and their thought patterns to look like something else rather than them. And they end up removing their hair and go through surgery to change their noses and their skin, because then they would know thyself, as the ancient Bantu wise ones admonished, and they start to live again. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kamiti Hebrew Ethics. This is Preacher Rabbi LM Dumizulu of Marifado, and this is our email. Send us an email and join us and let us work very hard to revive, resuscitate, and live a full life again. Amen. 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 Ra.